It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. A scary phrase that I've been hearing a lot lately is "we don't need." And it's been interesting because I've been doing a lot of coaching, and it's almost as if teams are falling back into the whether you call it Scrum butt or Agile butt worlds, and they're just trying to take on the pieces that they think they need. And I'm going to review a few of these with you because I thought it was kind of concerning when I heard them. So the first one I heard most recently was someone say, "Now this is the obvious one. We don't need it. We don't need to meet every day. This whole daily Scrum thing, it's a waste of time. Why do we meet every day? We know what each other's working on, or even better, I don't care what everybody else is working on because it's not directly going to impact me. I'm working on my thing. They're working on their thing. Why do I have to tell them what I'm doing? Why do they have to tell me what they're doing? It's just a waste of time." Wow. And like I said, these are all reality. These are things that I've heard. When you hear someone say that, what are they really saying? That's the question. And I think that sometimes we don't take the time to translate what it really means. And I don't think they understand what they are saying to us when they say that. When I say us collectively, I'm talking about Scrum Masters, leadership, people who understand Agile. When someone comes in and says they don't think they see value in a daily meeting, what they're actually saying is that they really don't see value in a daily meeting because we're doing it wrong. We have, and when I say doing it wrong, we're just not doing it in a way that provides value. And I think that this is a symptom more than the actual problem. The actual problem is we need to go back and reassess that meeting and talk about and figure out what we can do to make it more optimized. What can we do to make it more efficient? And how can we make it more streamlined so that people are comfortable with what they need to do in that meeting? What the team doesn't understand is when they say we don't need a daily scrum, they're saying, nah, we don't need our team to be synchronized. There's no value in identifying all those blockers early and embracing fast decision making. We can wait for all those things. Now I know no team member would ever outright say that, but that's what they're saying. That's what it is when you hear that. Or what about this one? This one blew my mind. We don't need sprint planning. We spend enough time in PI review and in all these other things that we don't need to plan every couple of weeks. We're good. We can just have the team pull from a continuous backlog, or even better yet, we can just do Kanban, first in, first out. That way we don't have to plan. It'll save us so much time and energy. Now, what the team is saying, this is really interesting. This is, again, a symptom. What the team is really saying is, we feel like we spend way too much time in meetings. What can you do to help us scale that back? Wow. I'm going to say that one more time. What the team's saying when that happens is we feel like we're spending way too much time in meetings. What can we do to scale that back? That is a powerful statement, right? I think the other piece of this is sometimes what the team doesn't understand when they say that is that they're in essence saying, this whole thing about risk mitigation, early feedback, visibility, transparency, adaptability, we don't need any of that. We don't need it. It's just not for us. And I know no one would ever outright say that either, but they don't understand that when they're saying they don't need sprint planning, that they're throwing all those other things out as well. And I think it's a combination of us not understanding what they're really trying to say and us not knowing how to properly represent why it's so important. And I think if you put those two together, it's a recipe for disaster, right? So far we talked about the daily scrum. We talked about sprint planning. Let's talk about the review real quick because I want to just keep on going because I hear every single meeting called out. For the review, I hear people say, it doesn't make sense. Our stakeholders hate coming every couple of weeks to see what we built anyway. Can't we just do this once every release or once a month or once every 3 months, once a quarter? We get the feedback from them and we're fine. Okay. What they're saying is that it's another symptom. Usually this means that they're suffering from a lack of work in progress, either whether it's personal work in progress WIP limits or whether it's organizational WIP limits. They have so much work in flight that they're not getting anything done and they're embarrassed to show what they have done. And the part that they have done isn't going to be up to snuff because they're spreading themselves too thin. Wow, I went there, right? That's the team saying. But when you say that as a team member to a leader or to a scrum master, what you're saying is it's not important for us to engage our stakeholders and gather feedback from them. It's totally the same as if we're doing. It's totally the same if we're doing it the right thing or not. So it doesn't matter what they have to say. We're going to build what we know to build, whether they give us feedback or not. And that troubles me, right? Because I don't think the team, once again, I don't think they're intentionally saying that, but by saying no, we don't need it, that is what they're saying, right? And then finally, of course, the big kahuna, the retrospective. I don't know what it is, but people want to kill this meeting first. I think they just don't know how to treat it and don't know what to do. So they wind up killing or shooting a dart through the most important agile principle, which once again is the retrospective. And I think that when people figure this out, it makes a lot more sense. So when a team says, we don't need to do the retrospective, that means two things. One, the retrospective is not being done correctly. Two, they feel like they're not getting value out of setting and achieving goals. Ouch. That's really what the symptom is. Now, the reality for the team who's saying that, so you have a team that's saying this, a team that's saying, oh, we don't need to retrospective. It's a waste of time. What they're saying, ready for this? We don't need to improve. Improvement is silly. Why should we improve? Now, I know no team would ever say that. No team member would ever say that. But that, in essence, is what they're saying. And I think that it's our duty and our responsibility to help them think more clearly, to help them see what's actually happening. So it's our job as a scrum master to be a servant leader and a translator to help translate those emotions from we don't need into this is why we need, right? And I think if we do that, it's going to help us improve our agile framework. That's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.